said I'ma crush it.
ALS, which is commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a devastating illness that people think is rare, but it really isn't all that rare. The reason people think it's a rare disease is because at any given time, there are about as many people living with it that have died with it. So the presence of people living with ALS is not as great as someone living with MS because the life expectancy is not as long. But it really isn't that rare of a disease. And it's a neuron disease, so it affects neurologically the body, and it affects different people in different ways. Some people, it attacks their arms and legs, and they get very weak in their arms and legs and are unable to use their arms, unable to walk. Some people find that their speech starts to go right away. Eventually, breathing becomes difficult, and then eating becomes difficult. And the best thing, there's no cure for ALS. The best thing that we can do, and organizations like us throughout the United States, is just help improve the quality of life for someone who's living with ALS.
And what are the types of services that the ALS Association of Western Pennsylvania provides?
Our number one priority here is to take care of people living with ALS, their families, their caregivers, and everyone in their family who's affected by the disease, because it does touch everyone. The person with ALS becomes very dependent on equipment and other resources and human beings for help and care and assistance. The quality of life of that person is what's most important to us. So we provide a wide range of resources for the person living with ALS who can't afford to provide those things on their own. The average cost for a person living with ALS is $250,000 a year. So unless you have an amazing health care plan, you are going to need some assistance. Veterans and people currently serving in the military are 2 times more likely to get ALS than anyone else, and nobody really knows why. But veterans' benefits are very, very good. And a law was just passed that helps them get coverage for their benefits immediately, 100%. But there are a lot of people out there that don't have the kind of benefits that they need, and that's what we're here to do. For people living with ALS, we provide communication devices. We have a wheelchair loan program. We have respiratory equipment. We can provide transportation to and from hospital visits and clinic visits. We can provide respite care, hospice care, speech therapists. It runs the gamut. And I think what we're most proud about is there is not a one-size-fits-all. So based on a person's needs, we can use our resources to fit the needs of the individual. One example of the way in which we're very flexible with our resources, we have a transportation budget. And usually that's used to transport an ALS patient from their house to the clinic and back. That if they're in a wheelchair, it takes a van, it takes some medical people to do that. Within that budget, though, we have some flexibility, and we got a call from a couple that had been living in their basement, and it was one room and a bathroom, and they'd been living in there for several years, and it was dark and it was damp, and the wife was sleeping on the couch, and had to go upstairs every time she needed to go to the kitchen. And they really, really wanted to move up to the first floor and have a hospital bed put in the first floor. Well, in order to do this, it was going to take quite a lot of people and a lot of planning. And we actually got the local EMT to come out with 4 people. We had 2 nurses on hand, and we actually, for $700, moved this man and his wife from their stone cold dark basement to the first floor, where they had windows and light and access to the kitchen, and she could sleep in her own bed for the first time in several years and still be close to her husband who needed her. It changed their life. It changed their quality of life. All of these resources we provide, the speech generating devices, the wheelchair loan closet, the wheelchair ramps, transportation, home health care, respite care, hospice, speech, all of that is provided by and paid for by the generosity of people who choose to fund our organization. We do not have an endowment. We do not get government or state funding. We really operate on the generosity of individuals, foundations, and corporation support. Our biggest fundraising event of the year is the Walk to Defeat ALS. We hold one in Johnstown, and we hold one in Pittsburgh. And last year, the Johnstown Walk raised $50,000, which all went to patient services and care. The Pittsburgh Walk is always held at the zoo. So you can walk through the zoo, and it's sort of built-in entertainment. And 3,500 people last year, individuals, raised $410,000 for patient services. The walk as a national walk is the 5th largest walk in the country. And locally, our goal this year is to raise $500,000 for patient care.
And how can somebody that's interested in helping you reach that goal get in touch with you?
To get involved in the walk, all you need to do is log on to our website. There's a link right there at www.cure4als.org. We're also on Facebook, big Facebook presence, the Walk to Defeat ALS. You can Google search Walk to Defeat ALS and find a walk in your local area. So there are lots of ways to find us, and then form a team, start your walk team, and get involved. Another really good way to get involved is if you work for a local company or a regional company, get the company involved. We have a lot of people who form a team within their office. They'll raise money by having a dress down day, and everybody, pays $1 to wear jeans to work on a Friday. We also have a competition going right now for March Madness basketball, which is an office fundraising thing that people can do. We also encourage people to have a brown bag fundraiser. So instead of going out to eat every day for lunch, people literally put a brown lunch bag on their desk, and the money they would spend each day on going out to eat, they put in the brown bag, and at the end of the week, the collection goes to support the Walk to Defeat ALS, and we always encourage a corporate match. The Pittsburgh Zoo has been a great place to have our walk. It's been a great place to have the walk, but we're limited to 3,500 people. This year, we are really looking for corporate sponsors. It will be the first year we've had corporate sponsors participate in a big way. We have several already, and we have a wonderful corporate recruitment team led by Neil Alexander, who has the Live Like Lou Fund at the Pittsburgh Foundation and is on our board of directors and has ALS. And he's heading up our corporate recruitment team. And we hope to have a lot of corporate support this year.